in the social hall. And you're to wear your favorite black and white outfit and support the next generation. And that's Beth Davis, that's all our preschoolers, that's the parents and the grandparents and everything of the preschool. So now, tomorrow, the big announcement, tomorrow, does anybody know what tomorrow night is? The Super Bowl, as in S-O-U-P-E-R, bowl. So Super Bowl. And what we're doing is the Mensch Club is making various soups at 6 p.m. and they're having a party here tomorrow night. And you get to test all the soups out and get ready for the other Super Bowl on Sunday, okay? So tomorrow night is the Super Bowl. And then the Social Action Committee is going to be, we're starting to collect travel-sized toiletries for Mitzvah Day on March 18th. That's not for a little while, but we are doing that now. So there's collection boxes in the lobby for shampoo, soap, body lotions, deodorant, toothpaste, all kinds of toiletries like that. So please bring those in now and put them in that box in the lobby, and so we can get everything collected for the March 18th. And then, of course, tonight we are yesterday was officially Rabbi's 30 years with the congregation, woohoo, and you'll hear a little bit more about that. The big event that we're going to be doing is during High Holidays, because it is his 30th year of doing High Holidays. So that's when we're going to be really celebrating his 30th year. And with that, good Shabbos.
page 131. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru, shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru, shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song. I will sing unto God a new song.
Good job, everyone. Could you hear me? Ah, perfect. Good job, everyone. We continue with the special mitzvah of kindling the Shabbat lights found on page 120.
All right, you know the words, Yailalai. Yailalai, 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 yailalai. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. May you have a peaceful day. Shabbat shalom. May you have a restful day. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. We call to the Bima Melody Wood for her bat mitzvah, and Crystal Wood, her sister, and Danielle Shore in honor of choosing Judaism yesterday. Lehadlikner shel Shabbat, Lehadlikner shel Shabbat.
Good Shabbos again, everyone. We turn in our prayer book to page 124. We read together, "We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors through lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer." We continue with Shalom Aleichem on page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Let our desire be so strong that it will rear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. 146, we rise for the Baruch. 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too, for its mysteries beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me, did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'otecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom ha'levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech u'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uv'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'yisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hoseiתי אתם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands and marching together.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל הכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אלה נורא תהילות אוסף אלה מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים זה ליענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי יפאר אדוני את יעקב וגאלון מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom, L'shalom. V'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Page 162. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. That never gets old. We rise now for the Amidah on page 164.
Adonai sefatai tiftachu fiagi tegilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zoher Haseh, Avot v'imahot, U'megvi geula livnei v'neihem, Lema Shemo behava, Mele Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Tzara, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mehayei hakol, Mezorah ve'Oshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hadashim, Mehayei hayim bechesed, Mehayei hakol berachamim ravim, Somech nothim nerehek nolim, Umatir asurim, Umkayeh emunato, Lishenei afar, Mihamoha ba'agivurot, Umidomela, Melech memit, Umakayeh, Umatzi Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mehayei hakol.
Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We continue in silent devotion through page 180, using the words on the right or left side of the page or the words within your heart. When you have completed your prayers, please be seated. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam V'tov Beinecha Levarech Et Amcha Yisrael Bechol Eit Uvechasha Bishlomecha Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam Tasim Leolam.
In 371, there are the words to the Mishaberach prayer. It's a time in our service when we think of those who are in need of our prayers, prayers for hope and for healing. We think of those also who are caregivers, and we hope that they are emboldened with courage and strength and love as well. And we think of those who face the demons of the heart and mind, and that God brings them strength as well. And so if there is someone special to you that you would like to say their name, as many names as you would like, please stand at this time and say their names. And now we as a community, we all rise as we join together, arm in arm, giving each other strength and a feeling of solidarity as we join together in our Mishaberach prayer.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mikor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Last couple years, we had a nice tradition of offering blessings once a month for those celebrating wedding anniversaries. But we thought we would change things up. Starting in January, we thought we would do a birthday blessing once a month. So here we are in the month of February. Does anyone happen to have a birthday in the month of February? come on up. February birthdays. You thought the what? I'm not going to ask you how old you are. I'll just say, how long has it been since your bar mitzvah? All right. Okay, come on over here. Oh, not yet, not yet. They'll have to rise. Okay. All right. Well, this is the month of your birthday. When is your birthday, Jack?
February 11th.
February 11th. Happy birthday. It's coming up.
8th,
15th.
5th, 20th, the 20th. The 20th.
Are you just copying her? Oh, that's true?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Same hospital? Are you sisters? Separated at birth? Brooklyn, Queens. Could be. Okay.
22nd,
11th, 13th.
Very good. All right. Well, we had two on the same day, right? That's a pretty good coincidence. And I get to ask them questions, and it's hard because I found a good pattern of ribbing people for their weddings, but for birthdays it's a little bit harder. So I will ask you this. When you look back over the years, what was one of your most favorite birthdays? If you want to share it. Why? One of your most favorite birthdays?
When we took everybody to Catalina on a boat, all our friends and relatives and whatever. We had about 100 people. We took to Catalina from Long Beach and spent the day and came back. That was a lot of fun.
And where are you taking me this year? Okay. You're taking your son. Okay. I can be adopted.
I think the first time we spent our birthdays together.
Ditto.
Good answer. Very good.
Each year's my favorite. I'm just thankful for being here.
Last year, my family came in and made a big party for me.
The day I was born, and I had my parents and my sister, and I had a whole family the day I was born.
Well, this one's pretty special because 20 years ago, tomorrow was my bat mitzvah. So now I get to share that with Melody as she takes on Parsha Yitro. And then 3 years ago when I turned 30, you guys did a pretty banging installation for me. So that's a tie.
So, wait a minute. So you're going to have a bat mitzvah. Who's going to be your rabbi?
You?
And who is your rabbi?
You.
Oh my God. What an amazing coincidence. So what are you going to have as your favorite birthday memory?
Probably my 5th birthday when we went out to dinner at this place and I had conga drums and I was playing with that.
The year of my bar mitzvah.
The year of your bat mitzvah? Very nice. All right. Well, that's pretty good. So is there one last question? As you think back upon the span of the years, is there a life lesson that you want to share? A life lesson you want to share with everybody?
Don't listen to middle school boys.
Don't listen to middle school boys. Very good. Okay. Now, a lot of us are thinking, we wish we had that advice a long time ago.
I guess my birthdays have taught me that the love of community is everything.
Being a Jew, and very proud of it.
Enjoy each day.
Practice kindness.
Finding someone special to share your life.
Eat cake.
Oh, when
She said eat cake.
the rabbi put a mezuzah on my house, it was a very special time.
Very nice. So these are all good life lessons, and I'd like everyone to rise because I'm going to offer a blessing. And the cantor challenged me in her own special way to create a special birthday blessing for her. So go ahead and open the ark. This will probably be an unexpected one. We'll see. So I did a little research about birthdays and Judaism. And according to Judaism, we have a psalm assigned to every one of our birthdays. You take the year of our birthday and you add 1 year. So your psalm is Psalm 34. And I looked at it, and I decided to rewrite it a little bit. So go ahead and you stand with them. So even though I wrote this with you, Cantor, in mind because it is your psalm, I thought I would offer it to everybody. May you bless God at all times, for the praise of God always comes forth from your mouth. May your soul reflect your love of God and bring joy to us all. May you magnify God through your deeds and together help us to exalt Adonai. May you seek God and in so doing be calmed in all your fears. For you shall fear God, you shall feel God's presence, and in so doing know that God is good. May you speak not ill of others, but rather continue to do good, seek peace, and pursue it. Thus shall you always know that God redeems all who follow in the path of Torah, and in so doing finds a community of love and respect, and the knowledge that you are never alone. God's love, our love, is always with you. Amen. And by the way, take a look at Psalm 34. There is a quote there that when you go into the foyer and you look straight up, there's a circle of Hebrew, and that quote came from Psalm 34. On this month of your birthday, may you be mindful of the fact that there are those who love you and care about you, that there were those who blessed the day that you were born, and that with each passing year that has grown. People who have come to know you as you have grown and matured, and you have contributed to life and society. And they thank God for having you in their lives. And we as a community, we say ditto. We say likewise, that we are proud to have you in our community, and that our love is an extension of the love of so many who have touched your lives throughout the year. So may God continue to bless you with many, many more years to come, with health and happiness, and the special knowledge that you are cherished for who you are. And let us say, Amen. Mazal Tov, and happy birthday. Yeah, but can you move the chairs so that they're the right way? They don't know what they're doing.
Shabbat Shalom. That's the first time I heard the rabbi say ditto and likewise. I've never heard that before. Welcome to a special edition of Compelling Conversations. I would also like to welcome our online viewers. I'm Ira David Sternberg and will be the moderator of this panel. The panel will be addressing Judaism for the 21st century. We obviously have limited time to discuss this important topic, but I'm confident that these distinguished panelists will stimulate a wider and more in-depth conversation throughout the congregation and the wider Jewish community. Our panelists tonight are Rabbi Sanford Axelrod, who is, as mentioned earlier, serving his 30th year as the spiritual leader of congregation near Tamid. I think it would be great to give him a group mazel tov. And since this is also Groundhog Day, I think it would be great to give him a group mazel tov. Little film reference, thank you. In his nearly 27 years of service to our congregation, Rabbi Axelrod has also served on a wide variety of community boards, including the Humana Hospital Pastoral Advisory Board, the Jewish Federation of Las Vegas Jewish Family Services, and the National Conference of Community and Justice. Our next panelist, Jeff Metz, has been the executive director of the JCC of Southern Nevada since September 2014. He came to Las Vegas with a background serving as the executive director of the Siegel JCC in Wilmington, Delaware, and the assistant executive director of the JCC in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And our third panelist, Todd Palikoff, has served as president and CEO of Jewish Nevada since November 2015. He previously served as the director of donor stewardship for the Jewish Federation of Cleveland and as Nevada State Director and Southwest Regional Director for the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. So gentlemen, I think we're going to start. I'll join you in just a second, but in Judaism for the 21st century, we'll also have better sound. So, Rabbi, do you want to lead off with, is it working okay?
Oh, we're safe.
I'll hand you my mic.
One, two, three.
Okay.
All right. You'll just have to edit that out there, Neil.
So
it's live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's not.
We want to start with talking, there's so many subtopics within this larger topic of Judaism within the 21st century. We want to start out with the concept of interfaith families. And Rabbi, why don't you start off with that?
Well, I was reflecting, obviously, 30 years, and when I began my career, there was a question. It was, were we going to be one people? And it had to do with the whole issue of patrilineal descent. A few years went by, and the issue changed completely to, will our grandchildren be Jewish? And the reason that question came about in the late 80s and early 90s was because the rate of intermarriage was rising. And so the view at that time was intermarriage was a threat to the Jewish community. The Reform movement responded with outreach. We were the first of the movements to say, let's welcome interfaith families, not view it as a threat to Jewish survival, but actually an opportunity to bring people into the fold and to create a sense of welcoming. There was a guy by the name of Charles Silberman who wrote a book that said, if a Jew marries a non-Jew and they raise 2 children Jewish, that one Jew has doubled himself. And so it's not a question of, is intermarriage itself a threat? It's whether that family chooses a destiny within the Jewish community. And that's what we have to be aware of. We have to be very welcoming so that people know that this is a place that they can feel comfortable and find a sense of belonging.
Jeff, do you agree or disagree with what the rabbi says?
I very much agree, but I see it even as a much broader conversation, not just interfaith, but it's what does a Jewish family, in a sense, look like in the 21st century, right? So, again, I've been in this business also 30 years, and that whole conversation took place, and multiple voices were speaking about it, but our families today look different. You can have 2 mothers, you can have 2 fathers, you can have a transsexual parent, you can have a parent who's not Jewish, one who's converted, you can have multiple others types of visuals about who is a Jewish family today. You can have divorced families and blended families. You can have Jews that are white or black or mixed races. So there's so many different ways to look at a Jewish family, and I think one of the things that we struggle with in trying to serve the Jewish community these days is what does it being Jewish mean? What does it look like? What does a Jewish family look like? And I think that whether you're in the Federation business or the JCC business or the synagogue business, you're trying to identify how to best serve what is now a family or a person in the 21st century.
And this is all looking at it from the lens of Reform Judaism. You also have conservative Judaism, and Orthodox Judaism. So, Todd, is that acceptable to the Orthodox or conservative?
Well, I don't think we should be looking for acceptance from any one group. I think we should be looking, in my opinion, similar to what Jeff said and what Rabbi said. We're talking about people who want to identify with the Jewish community as Jewish families. I think from our perspective as the Federation, as Jewish Nevada, it's lowering the barriers of entry into the community. There is a community for the Orthodox. There is a community for the conservatives, a community for the Reform. It's not up to us as to where someone selects. We want to make sure that people know there's a community, and then they can find their way within the community. I don't think we should be looking to make sure we include everyone. We should just make sure we set it up so no one is excluded.
So it's more a question then of access.
Of course.
And how would you, Rabbi, how would you proceed to enlarge that access for families as we defined it for the 21st century that want to get involved in the Jewish community?
Well, what's interesting is how technology, which was not predicted in the 80s and 90s, has impacted on Judaism. On the one hand, access has never been so close and available. You flip on your computer, you ask the rabbi. You used to pick up the phone, you called the rabbi, you made an appointment. Now they go on the internet and they ask, what is the Jewish view of blah, blah, blah. And so, in one sense, there's never been as available access to Judaism, Jewish values, Jewish information. But what you can't get from a computer is a relationship, right? And so what needs to happen is the continual focus on creating a welcoming atmosphere and programs that bring together the Jewish community so that they really feel like a community. It seems like a no-brainer. You come, you feel like a community, but so often people are making Shabbos by themselves, and they are looking for a sense of people with similar values so that they can express their Judaism within the context of that community.
Rabbi, I know you wanted a conversation, so I'm just going to say I should have called you last night at 11:30 when I was trying to find out if I could get married during Sukkot, halachically. So I think I saved you waking up, though.
There you go.
I did find that on Google, the answer to them. You know, access to the Jewish community and what people are looking for is coming in very different ways. You know, the synagogues that we're sitting here, they were built 20, 30 years ago, or JCCs were built a long time ago, were built with that communal thought of needing facilities and needing an umbrella. And now, I don't know it's so much that they're making Shabbos alone, but they are looking for peer groups that are not as defined as they were 10, 20 years ago. So I think this sense of how do you express yourself Jewishly has changed, and I know at least for JCCs nationally trying to grapple with how to best serve them. So we're an example of a JCC without walls, right? We don't have the swimming pool and the gymnasium and fancy facilities, but we're still serving the Jewish community in so many ways by finding constituent groups that want to be together and have similar interests. So it's a little bit a different model.
Well, Todd mentioned access, and I'm going to turn it around to one of the other topics we were going to get to, because I think it ties in, which is engagement with the community. So it's not just a matter of being accessible to people that want to become involved in Jewish life, but it's also a way of reaching out. So I have three gentlemen here who are representative of institutions. Whether there's a swimming pool or not, whether there's other elements of physical structure, it is still an institutional representation here. Have any of you thought, and all three of you can answer, have any or all of you thought about how to begin that process of engagement for the 21st century?
I'll jump in. Technology, as the rabbi said, I was thinking about this. How many of you have written a Devar Torah before, or have had to?
Written one? Yeah.
Had to write one, give one? How many of you went online and researched that? Right. So there is access through technology, but that access can also tie you to community. But there's also things like, and Jeff and everybody, I don't know if anybody here has received PJ Library books. Okay? Right. We just did a mapping of our PJ Library families in Nevada. We send PJ Library books to 18 cities throughout the state. There are Jews in Sparks, in Incline Village, in Pahrump. So
why don't you explain what PJ Library is?
PJ Library is a program through a partnership with the Harold Grinspoon Foundation. Jewish Nevada partners with them. The JCC is our implementing partner for PJ Library programmatic pieces. Any child 0 to 8 years old gets a free book in the mail once a month. And these books are for a lot of families, when you talk about interfaith, these books, for the partner that is not Jewish, these books are also helping that parent teach their children about Passover, about Rosh Hashanah, about Shabbat, and it's educating the whole family at once. But my point to you is about engagement. I consider those PJ Library families just as engaged as everyone sitting here, because they, and I mentioned this on the phone to you, someone in Pahrump raised their hand and said, Hineni, I am Jewish. I don't have any Jewish neighbors. I don't have any Jews within 5 miles of me, but I'm going online and requesting a Jewish book for my child once a month. That person, I would argue, is just as engaged as all of you who showed up here tonight. That's technology getting them into the community.
Taking that technology once.
Just to capitalize on that point, I'll tell a story that you'll appreciate. So about 10 days ago, I was in my dentist chair, getting, cleaning, whatever, and I'm talking to the dentist, and it turns out he's Jewish. He's been in town about 8 years, and the only thing that he does Jewishly is that his family receives the PJ Library book, and since they only get one per family, his kids fight over who's going to get to read the book first. So I agree with you. That's pretty terrific engagement when you think about their commitment to Judaism. So it's the right story that tells what engagement really can mean.
And then combining technology with engagement, I assume at some point along the way the PJ books will be electronically distributed to families.
Yes and no, because they find that parents, the point of PJ is pajama time, right? So the point is that parents at night, they would read to their kids. And, we all read online, we all read on a Kindle or the computer or whatever else. But when you sit with your child and you have a book in front of you, and the child reads and you read, that's the point of PJ Library. It's that families are spending time together, not that you sit your child down with a device and they're reading their Jewish book. It's that you're reading it together.
Rabbi, have you thought about what a Ner Tamid can do to further engagement within and to the Jewish community for the 21st century?
Yeah, I think it's something we wake up and think about every day, myself and the cantor and the entire staff. You talk about technology, this is being webcast. So for high holidays, we usually have about 600 views. And these are people who maybe they could come, but for whatever reason, they're homebound or they're traveling. Tonight, we're having people who are web streaming it for a lot of different reasons. I'll be coming out with a podcast. We have Torah Talk Unedited. So the message of this congregation goes out in an electronic format. But there are other ways as well. Even this compelling conversations is an idea to introduce the congregation to Jewish values and Jewish thought, but in a non-sermonic way. Sermons are great, but there used to be a day and age when rabbis could go 45 minutes and give this great sermon, and then the attention span started waning. Make it short, Rabbi. And there's only so much that you can say in a 5 or 6 minute Devar Torah. And so this is an attempt to, I don't want to say make it more entertaining, but perhaps more engaging. So time and time again, we wake up and we try to think, what can we do to make the synagogue more compelling and inviting? We've had Shabbos bands, we've had drum circles. All of these things are a way to touch people's lives in a way that is spiritual to them. So just like you argue that PJ Library is a point of engagement, and the person who comes here for slichot and comes to a drum circle may not be their father's slichot, but for that person they go, wow, that was a powerful experience. And at the same time, the melodies may resonate with someone who, from their childhood. And so it's really combining the modern and the old and making it work. And that's really the beauty of Reform Judaism.
And speaking of modern, I'd like to get all three of you to discuss this, the challenge of reaching out, engaging with, and accepting millennials. Todd, you want to talk about that?
I would argue, it's interesting. Whenever someone says the word millennial, I sort of I have this visceral reaction. Because I think as much as we talk about millennials, we don't talk about baby boomers. And I just want to put that out there, that the baby boomers have time. Millennials, we're trying to find time in their schedules to become part of the community. Baby boomers have time, and we're not engaging them enough. But that said,
but we are talking about the 21st century and looking ahead.
Understood. I would argue that when you look at engagement that at least we found of millennials, you have to give them some victories. Okay? You can't just say, this is our system, this is our institution, this is the way we do it. We hope you fit. There has to be a conversation. And in that conversation, we as organizations and our leadership have to find victories to give that population so that they feel ownership over it.
Can you give us an example of what you're talking about by victory?
We have a young leaders group, and it seems like everybody in town has a young leaders group. They came to us and they wanted to do different types of programming. They wanted to do Shabbat they just had a Shabbat event at Zappos. Okay? Not a traditionally Jewish place.
So Shabbat then.
I'm sorry?
So Shabbat.
Yeah, right. It's good.
That's good.
Shabbat.
But, traditionally we would say you need to have that in a synagogue. Majority of them aren't members of synagogues. Now, I have an issue with that personally, but that's a different issue. But we have to say to them, if you think that you can get people to come together as young Jews in this community, and it has to be at Zappos, God bless you. Go do it at Zappos. And I think they had over 40 people show up.
And it's really more, that's just location. It's really to convey the message of Judaism. So whether it's at Zappos or at Temple or Jewish
But they
Federation.
own the program. That's the point.
Right.
They have to own it.
We only have a few minutes left. I want to touch on what you brought in and have Jeff comment and the rabbi. That requires not only thinking about it, but leadership to make those connections and to communicate to that generation and to others as well. How do you see leadership for the 21st century in the Jewish community? And then I'll start with Jeff this time, and then
go ahead.
Todd and the rabbi. I'll have the rabbi sum up, but Jeff?
Well, first I'll comment on engaging, and I won't even say millennials because it's really not millennials. It's pretty much under the age of 40.
None of us is what you're saying.
Yeah, no. But I'm a baby boomer, so I'll take issue with not engaging enough. But the thing about this population is Judaism has become very family-centric, right? And I know a lot of people who say, I'll join a synagogue when we have children and they need, preschool or services or Tach Shabbat or start to do bar mitzvah training. And then, of course, when their kids are old enough, they leave. And the synagogue, I think the goal for all of us is how do you engage people Jewishly in their lives wherever they are, whether they have a family or not. And that is definitely a challenge. Leadership here and everywhere in the Jewish world and otherwise, I guess, is a challenge. It's people who want to use their precious time to be involved and to take responsibility and ownership for some aspect of their of the community Jewish life. That's where leadership comes in. And I know that as a community, we collectively could, I think, do a better job of working together to grow leadership, to share leadership, to move leadership as they gain skills from one place to another where they would be best utilized. So it's definitely a challenge in our institutions and in our communities, but not just here, everywhere.
I'm going to let the rabbi sum up. We only have about a minute or two left. So, Rabbi?
I just have so many thoughts swimming through me. Again, going back to the question of access, one thing I didn't say is cost. Cost of being Jewish is actually very high. You want to join a synagogue, you want to join a traditional JCC with all the bells and whistles.
We're very inexpensive.
They're very inexpensive, but a traditional one's expensive. Going to Jewish day schools, it's very, very expensive. And the millennials or the Jews today, they're wondering, is it worth it? And when does it become worth it to them? It's still the traditional model of when they get married and they have children, but by that time, it's over 20 years since their bar bat mitzvah, and they've had a lot of time to become disconnected to the Jewish community. And so we need to lower that barrier of cost. We have to figure that out. We have to also find ways of creating programs, as Todd said, where they're at. We have our Next Gen program, which has a lot of young adults who are involved planning activities. And we have to really understand that as much as we worry, Judaism has been around a long time. And I think that as people age, they find that religion and the sense of spirituality and the importance of transmitting values from one generation to the next is a powerful thing. And it may not be something foremost on the mind of someone who's 22 or 23 or even 28, but as they grow older, I think they will. There's someone here who said to me, being Jewish is very important to me, and this is a person who is going to be going into an interfaith marriage. And she said, if we don't have Jewish children, it's the end of the line in my family. And so I heard what that person said, that somehow she had been raised to understand the importance of what it means to be Jewish. Even if she doesn't know an aleph from a bet, and she does, but even if she didn't, she understands that her role as a committed Jewish adult is to learn more. It may start with a bedtime story, and hopefully it'll mature into a siddur, and maybe it'll be an adult bar bat mitzvah. But that's what we hope, that wherever someone is now, they will grow Jewishly, and they will embrace what it means to be Jewish. And that was true in the 18th century, the 19th century, and I'm sure it'll be just as true in the 21st century.
It's a great way to end it. Thank you, Rabbi and Jeff, Todd, and thank you, everybody. I know this will be continued in terms of discussion at the ONEG and for a long time to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Ira. We appreciate you being our
Thank you.
moderator. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Todd.
So, Rabbi, you didn't want an anthem, but I mean, we have to acknowledge that you've been here 30 years, even though we have the big celebration coming up at Rosh Hashanah. But since it is this weekend, we have a little something to celebrate you and say Mazel Tov.
One, two, 1, 2, 3.
To God and praise His name, and we will sing and we will shout, and we will make a joyful noise unto God, unto God, unto God. Shiru Adonai, Shiru
2, 1, 2, 3.
Yai, ha-da-da-da-da-da. Yai, ha-da-da-da-da-da. Yai, ya-da-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da, yai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Shiru l'Adonai. Shiru shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai. Yadadadai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai. Baruch Hu Shemo. We will sing unto God and praise His name. And we will sing and we will shout. And we will make a joyful noise unto God. Unto God. Unto God. Shiru l'Adonai. Shiru shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai. Yadadadai kol haaretz.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Yai, ha-da-da-da-da-da. Yai, ha-da-da-da-da-da. Yai, ya-da-da-da-da-da. Ya-da-da-da, yai-dai-dai-dai-dai. Shiru l'Adonai. Shiru shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai. Yadadadai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai. Baruch Hu Shemo. We will sing unto God and praise His name. And we will sing and we will shout. And we will make a joyful noise unto God. Unto God. Unto God. Shiru l'Adonai. Shiru shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai. Yadadadai kol haaretz.
I want to thank Neil for putting that together for us. And no celebration is complete without a cake, so we got you a cupcake. It's pink.
All right, well, thank you. This is our unofficial 30th anniversary. We're going to be doing something special in Rosh Hashanah. And you might be imagining, what am I going to talk about this Rosh Hashanah? But we'll have something to do with being here 30 years. So let the fun begin, and thank you. And along the journey, if some of you have a special reflection between you and I or our family celebration, send it in to me or to Mindy, because we really want to kind of collect them, and it makes me feel good as I read them. So again, thank you, everybody, very, very much. All right, let's go ahead and we will conclude.
Page 586, we rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kecho hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamla Bayom ha'hu, bayom ha'hu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
598 is our Kaddish prayer. We think of those who have died in recent days. Marie Wagner, Patrick James Fitzgibbon Jr., Anna Fitzpatrick, Marceli Diaz, Sid Aaron Cohen, Florence Stein, Michael Sinderman, Bob Carter, Sheldon Barnett, Lorraine Schwartz, Adam Frogel, Arnold Poster, and Charles Cohen, and Fern Chenin. Think of the Yortzites of Nancy Barish, Michael Bernstein, Rose Adler Bonwit, Philip Campbell, Harry Cohen, Ben Engel, Rose Engel, Marcus Fisher, Randy Hicks, Robert Hutchings, Trudy Isaacs, Mildred Kishner, David Klein, Shirley Corman, Julius Kravitz, Pauline Crute, Glenn Lawrence, Caroline Lewis, Barry Linden, Howard Miller, Pete McConey, Joanne Mullen, Lorraine Perlman, Samuel Premack, Marnie Denise Robbins Greenberg, Molly Rudin, Marie Sklar, Evelyn Simon, Ann Witt, and Sonia Yellen. If you'd like to say the name of someone who is not mentioned, please stand and say their name. As we think of these and others who have touched our hearts, we rise to recite our Kaddish prayer. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, b'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yomechon chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agalav izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam omei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekusha brichu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, dam yiram b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlom araba min shamaya v'chayim, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. O say shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May be seated. Barney Tabak. Barney, could I ask you to come forward just for a moment? We didn't rehearse this, so he's wondering what am I going to ask him. So first of all, thank you very much, Cantor, and whoever else helped you. It was probably a solo effort, but to make that video, I really appreciate it. Did Neil? Mm-hmm. I have a cold, as you might notice, and it's hard to hear, but thank you, Neil, and thank you, Cantor. You have probably gotten an email from Rabbi Axelrod asking you to fill out a survey. How many of you have received that? All right, Barney, tell them what it is and what we need to have happen.
Okay, thanks, Rabbi. We're doing an assessment. The assessment's 3 parts. The major part is the survey. The survey should be coming to you by email, should have already come. The reason for it is to get an idea of what our wants and needs are of the synagogue, particularly the customers, you, the participants, the congregation. Many times we don't ask enough and we don't listen enough, for sure. I really want you to answer this. It takes 7 to 12 minutes to respond. It's all easily done on your computer. If you didn't receive it, please, I'll be in the ONAG, please come up to me. I'll make sure you get it. Or call the office. Then you can call Linda. You can call me. I can give you my phone number tonight. But please do it.
So this is a survey developed by the Union for Reformed Congregations, and they have hired a company that is helping congregations all over the United States do the identical thing. So our data is actually compiled into a universal database, and it's also used strictly for Ner Tamid purposes. So it's going to help nationally, and it's also helping our congregation. So if you're a member of Ner Tamid and you haven't gotten the email, please call the office or speak to Barney. Barney's the chair of the project, which is why I called him up. He's actually Rabbi Axelrod in that letter, so thank you for sending it out very, very much. Some of them were bounced back, and you may get another email, and that's just to nudge you, or some of the emails bounce back. All right? So thanks, Barney. Thank you. Okay. That's an important project. And last but not least, Wednesday at Temple Sinai, we are co-sponsoring a program with IAC and with Temple Sinai, and there is a educator from Israel who is going to be making his way talking about some very important subjects. He is a person who has lectured all over the world, and we hope that we get a good showing from our congregation. It is at 7 o'clock, Temple Sinai on Wednesday.
And next Friday night, it's our quarterly Shabbat After Dark, after our regular service. So we hope that if you are a millennial or know a millennial or are around 20s and 30s, if you identify as a young adult, any of those categories apply to you or your loved ones, please send them for late services. We start with 8 o'clock, nosh, wine and cheese in the library, and then go into a service around 8:30, 8:45, brief service, and then we go after hours to a pub down the street. So please join us for that. Who are we bringing up for Kiddush and Motzi?
I almost forgot. I would like to invite up anyone who happens to be getting married next week on Thursday. Sarah and Connor, we wish you mazel tov. Come on up. And who else should we have? Okay, some of the kids from religious school. If you're in religious school, come on up. All right, come on, you're still in religious school. All right, very nice. And we'd like to thank Ira and Todd and Jeff very much. I know Todd wasn't feeling well. Did he already leave? He wasn't feeling good, and same with Jeff. You had a panel, all of us were fighting the cold, but you did a good job there, Ira. That's right. You needed to start by giving us vitamin C, though, I think.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Barei peri hagafen. Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. We join in our final song, En Keloheinu. Once I find the page number, I believe it's 562, something like that. I haven't done this one in a while. $626. It came back to me. Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kamoshienu, mi Eloheinu, mi Chadonenu, mi Kemalkeinu, mi Kamoshienu, no del Eloheinu, no del Adonenu, no del Malkeinu, no del Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu,
Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom. We'll see you in the Oneg.
Shabbat Shalom.